Yes, what now, certainly we would wish and encourage any comments or questions that you may have in regards to our Declaration of Rights or Constitution, any others. Yes, ma'am.
Under this state constitution, who's qualified to hold office?
Very well. The lady inquires as to who is qualified to hold office under the provisions of our new Virginia Constitution.
Public penalties. Those who have the ability of holding public office in Virginia are essentially the same persons who have the franchise of the vote. If you cannot vote, you may not hold public office. And we presently have the most liberal and lenient qualifications for the franchise to be found anywhere in this world. In fact, I'd not wish to see it amended. And is largely the same series of qualifications which we had as a British colony. In other words, one must needs only be a free white male, 21 years of age or older, Protestant, and owning of some substantial parcel of land. Presently, the land requirements are as follows. Either 50 acres of unimproved land or 25 acres of land which is improved. That is to say, it has something planted upon it and a dwelling house at least 12 feet square. Or, in the case of those freeholders who reside within the two incorporated cities, being Williamsburg and Norfolk, so long as they own a lot in town and a townhouse, they too are possessed of the franchise. Finally, it's been extended yet again to include the tradesmen in Williamsburg and Norfolk who have practiced the same trade or craft within the same vicinage for 5 years or more. The purposes of these various qualifications are as follows, and they are threefold. It ensures that all those who have that great power of the vote and of holding public office all have a stake in society, they all pay taxes, and they are all generally free from undue influence from others in how they give their votes.
The only exception as to the qualifications to hold office is one of age in regards to one new office that we have established in our Constitution, that being those elected to the Senate. There will be one senator from each of our 24 senatorial districts, which we have yet to establish. But to serve in the Senate, you are required to be 5 and 20 years of age instead of 1 and 20, and that is the only exception.
Well, and the property requirement.
Well, yes, all the other requirements, but I'm saying, yes.
The fact that the property of a person elected to office is considerably more than that allowing one to vote. Because the less property you have, the less able you are to lead it and serve the public. The more property you have, the more people you have to work it, therefore it does not require your direct attention.
Gentlemen, at present, I should think our Constitution does not address the franchise as a matter of statutory law. And like many of Virginia's statutes, which predate our new Constitution, it is in need of revision. For if the sovereignty is to lay with the people, gentlemen, then I submit no longer can we consider the franchise a privilege, but rather it must be viewed as a right. And I believe this should be expanded just as far as wisdom and policy might allow. I would favor an elimination completely of any property requirement, and I would also favor the inclusion of femme souls as having the franchise as well.
If I may, sir, if we view the franchise or voting as a right and not as a privilege, that would preclude any government from having any sort of requirements whatsoever on voting. If you view voting as a right given by God, then what authority would government have to place any restrictions whatsoever on voting?
Now, Mr. Pendleton, fine attorneys yourself, surely you know that all rights are limited in one manner or another. The most basic notion of it would be that I have full rights as long as I don't infringe upon those of others.
Yes.
I am not free to take myself to Raleigh Tavern and stand in the middle of that place and scream at the top of my lungs that there's a fire, thereby causing a great tumult as those attempt to flee and several people injured and trampled upon it. I would find myself in a court being sued by those folks for the injuries that they have occurred, and rightly so. I see no no incongruity in minor limitations upon the franchise, the most obvious being, of course, age.